Today I'm going to show you how I do pear preserves, and this is from, fig preserves. We've already done a video on pear, and today we're doing figs, and this is from my mother's recipe, who used to make them, but she always made preserves, and today I'm making fig jam and fig preserves. Now, the ratio of sugar to figs, you prepare the figs, you wash them, you cut the stems off the end, and then you wash them. Well, wash them first, then cut the stems off and weigh them. And whatever the weight is, you take 50% of that, and that's how much sugar you'll use. So it's a 1 to 1.5 ratio. 1 to a half ratio. If you had 1,000 grams of figs, you would use 500 grams of sugar. And so when you're making jam, you cut them up. Some say chop it up. I cut them up in fourths like this. I've never made jam, but this is the way I'm going to do it because I think they'll disintegrate. I use the larger figs and the more ripe figs for the jam. And so I just put them in here, cut them up, put the sugar on top, and then I'm going to let that sit until I finish my fig preserves. And then I'll do these. I'll put them in a pot. I'll bring them up to boiling. I'll add some lemon, probably I don't know, for this much I may add a whole lemon and slice it up real thin and de-seed it and put it in there. This is, I think, 4,040 grams of figs, prepared figs. And so I put 2,020 grams of sugar. And you can, if you want to do ounces or whatever, you can convert that, do a Google search. So that's those, and I'll cook those down until they're ready and real thick, and the figs are kind of clear, translucent. And then I'll jar those up. Now here, we've got the fig preserves. These are whole figs. These are the smaller ones and the slightly less ripe. You have to pick them a little early or the darn coons will get them. So anyway, I've got the figs in there, 50% of, ooh, look at that little, that's an Alma fig there. And these are Celeste. And so I'll cook those down. It'll take a while and they'll give up some of their juices. Now what I did is I took an ice pick and poked holes in them so that it would extract, so that the juice could come out and sugar could go in. And I got that idea on the internet. Some lady that spoke broken English. So anyway, we'll let those cook down, and I'll come back later and show you what they look like and how far to cook them. But we're a long way off. Usually I'll check the temperature, and if it gets up in the 220, 225 range, then we'll get real serious about taking them off, because you don't want that sugar to cook down too much and then become candy. So we'll come back later, and if I forgot to tell you anything, I'll remember it and tell you then. So holla. All right, now it's been about 30 minutes. Let me show you what these look like. They're starting to cook down. Now all this juice is from the figs. I didn't add any juice. I added just a little bit, and you remember this, a little bit. I put about a cup of 3, maybe 1/4 of a cup at most, maybe not that much, of corn syrup, K-row. That keeps it from crystallizing the sugar, so it'll stay liquid. So anyway, all this juice is from the figs. And I went through there, I mentioned that I poked holes in them so all that juice would come out. So we're gonna let these cook down. You can see they're getting a little translucent, shiny, starting to smell like fig preserves. My mother would fuss at my daddy because she would make biscuits and he would put a whole fig preserve on a biscuit, and she would say, Tillman, you're using too many figs. And so I didn't slow him down any though. He loved his fig preserves, and you can see figs were, not everybody had fig trees then. And so they'd have to go down in Arkansas and pick figs from a lady out in the front yard. Every year they'd go down and get the figs and put up some fig preserves. And they would eat them, and then they were an important component of fruit cakes that Mother would make and my Aunt Bernice, and also mahogany cake. Now mahogany cake, their mahogany cake is different than what you see on the internet. The internet, you look up mahogany cake and it's kind of like a red velvet. It's a chocolate cake, but their mahogany cake was different, and you put whole fig preserves in there, and it was just, you cut through there and get a portion of that fig preserve, and it was so good. So anyway, we'll come back when these are ready to put in the jars. One thing I want to mention is a lot of people, well, I've heated the jars in the boiling water, put them over here to ready to put the preserves in, and then I've got the lids in here heating, and I'll take them out so everything will be ready. You need to get everything ready before you start doing this stuff. And a lot of people put them in a water bath, in a hot water bath. I have never done that, and I've never had any problem with any kind of jellies or preserves that I've done. So, you know, if you're used to that and you feel better doing it, it's supposed to help them seal better, but you know, if you get one that doesn't seal, just make that the first one you eat. No big deal. So anyway, we'll come back. Okay, we're back, and looks like the preserves are ready. You can see that they've really become translucent, and they're soft, but they're not coming apart because I picked them a little bit before they got mushy ripe. So what we're going to do, and I checked the temperature on it, and it's about 200, it is at 220 degrees, which is not a bad temperature. So we're going to call it and bring them over here. We're going to put them in a jar. And I've got a bunch of half pints, but I want to fill one up with a good pint jar. Some of these nice big ones and put in there. Then we'll put some juice. Aren't those beautiful? Look at that. Look at that. Lord, I'm going to use them all up filling this jar. One jar up. It's like liquid gold. Ooh, that was coming apart there. Dang. I can see why Mother didn't want Daddy using more than one. All the air out. You gotta get it right up to within about 1/4 of an inch at the top, or it won't seal. You got to, so that air can. I think I'd like to put a piece of lemon in there if I can find it. There it is. So. There we go. Way too many jars. Oops. Wipe the top off. Put the lid on. Then put the ring. There we go. We'll do the rest of them and put them up, and then we're going to do the jam. So, holla back. All right, so this is kind of an update. We finished up our fig production. to make the fig jam, I took the larger figs and the really ripe ones and took the stems off, cut them into fourths, and put them in a pan, weighed them, and put half the sugar, just like I did for the preserves, half the amount of sugar of the weight of the figs. So if I had 1,000 grams of prepared cut up figs, I would put 500 grams of sugar. And so I had 4,040 grams of prepared figs, which was a lot of figs. And I added 2,020 grams of sugar to that, let it sit for about an hour or so, and then put it into this large pan here. And it just about filled this pan up. And I turned it up and got it to a strong simmer, and then cooked it for a while, and then I sliced up a whole lemon very thinly, de-seeded it, and put that in there for acid and to help the gelling process. And I cooked those figs down until the temperature was 220 degrees, which is the jelly stage. And I'd never done it before, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to make fig preserves again, although they turned out beautifully. As you can see, these are whole fig preserves, and they're really, really good. But the flavor of the fig jam is so intense. I want to show you. Look how that gelled, and you can see the pieces in there, and it's just absolutely delicious. I had some this morning on some homemade sourdough bread that I've made. So, yeah. So I got 17 half pints out of 4,040 grams of prepared figs. So that comes out to be about 238 grams of prepared figs per half pint. Now that's a lot of stuff you may not need to know, but if you're planning and you've got figs and you know the ratio, then you can prepare ahead and know how much sugar to put, know what temperature to get it when it cooks down, know how many jars you're going to need, and it's just really a simple process once you learn. Oh, here's some native persimmons, which you can see are quite large. They're a variety that came out of Indiana, and it's early August here, and these things are already getting ripe. So I guess they carried over their genetic getting ripe early from Indiana, because persimmons, the native persimmons here don't get ready until September, October. So anyway, I just wanted to update you on the fig jam and tell you how wonderful it is so that you can make it. And that way, oh, by the way, I collect figs and just put them in a container and put them in the refrigerator until I get enough to fool with, or until I'm ready. And they keep very well, so you can do that. If you know someone that's got some, I highly recommend you trying it. Here's a pint jar I put up, which be good. I'll send that to my son in California. All right, so that's the end. That's our fig production, and I'm very pleased with the way everything turned out, and I hope you get an opportunity to do the same. Y'all have a great day.